The long-term goal is to be hairless and smooth in between appointments, okay? So 2 goals on this, short-term, long-term. Okay, do you have any tendencies to ingrown hair, hyperpigmentation, bruises, allergies, scarring, bumps, allergies? If yes, to what? Now you notice I also have herpes virus on there. So a lot of times when we are not from the medical industry, we have a hard time saying that to somebody. Like, do you have the herpes virus, that you take the medicine? The reality is, if you're waxing their lips or their lips, then y'all better say it, because they might have a breakout. And what happens if you don't address the situation is they think you gave it to them, you made them have a reaction, and the reality is it's the service, not the wax. Do you understand? Person can have a herpes breakout because they get stressed, not because of how you did your job, but because of stress. So it is really critical that you learn how to say, wow, the sky is blue, and do you have the herpes virus? Because it's got to be brought up. It can't be casual. It has to just be brought up so you can take care of yourself professionally. So don't get weird or nervous about it. Just address the situation. Again, particularly when you're getting into doing Brazilians, if somebody does have breakouts, herpes breakouts, they can have a breakout, they can go to a doctor, and now they can blame you, and they can say that's why they have it. So really just address the situation. Okay, are you currently using or taking Accutane, Retin-A, alpha-hydroxys, resorcinol, glycolic acids, scrubs or peel of any kind, and any other medications? Now, people are on lots of medications that we don't necessarily know what their side effects are. But there's a website called WebMD where you can look up every drug. So it is not, I'm not saying that you stop everything and you go to your computer and look it up. But as you work with people in this industry and they are on medications, to continually educate yourself, I do recommend that, you ask them how to spell it. If they don't know, then you write it phonetically. And then you go to WebMD at some point and you research it and you find out if it has any effect on the skin, what kind of effects it has on the body. So you, again, can do your job professionally in a much more understandable, like you'll really know what's going on. Okay, now this next part is what I call the disclaimer. And when I'm working with an individual, what I do is I actually go right next to them, because normally I do my consultation not sitting side by side. But what I do, time for the disclaimer, I come over and I say, okay, I want to read something with you. And I point to it so that we read it together and they know where to look. And I say, waxing may cause bruises, scads, scarring, redness, hyperpigmentation, or pimples. And we're doing your upper lip, so it's really, really common to get some pimples, okay? Waxing of soft tissue may cause the skin to tear, resulting in the need for stitches. How scary is that to say? So we're going to do a Brazilian, and I may rip your crotch off, but that's all right. It'll grow back. It'll only hurt for a little while, and all will be well. It is scary to say, but I do live in California, and everybody in the United States does sue each other, okay? They do. It's a trickle-down theory. So we legally cover our butt, but we also professionally cover our butt, because things happen. And I don't care how good you are, how much experience you have, and somebody might be sitting out there saying, I have never had somebody break out. Well, congratulations, go to the head of the class. Okay, normally you're going to have reactions. Somebody will have a reaction. I don't care how great you are, you're going to have something go wrong at some point. You look up at exactly the wrong, you look up at you're pulling off a strip, you pop the skin, you take off a little bit of skin. Or you don't hold it exactly right here and you bruise them. So outlining all of the things that can happen and having it so clear in the conversation with your customer has really made it much easier for you to have that, oh gosh, this is what happened. And I can tell you, I mean, I've been waxing for 30-something years. I've made every frickin' mistake, usually in front of a lot of people, there is to make. I have trimmed eyebrows, and again, a lot of my, I've worked in the salon for many years, but I've also done a lot of platform waxing, so I've had everything go wrong in front of a lot of people. But it's going to happen. I remember waxing some girl's eyebrows. She had these two-direction, and this section grew straight up, and they were quite long, so I trimmed them, and the minute I trimmed them, now she had a hole. And as much as I tried to do this, the hair just wouldn't stay because it was really boingy. Okay, great. So I pick up a mirror, and I say, okay, I trimmed your eyebrows a little short right there, so you've got a little space. I'm sure it would have been 2 days before it filled in. Nevertheless, if you don't actually tell the customer, they think you're a ding-dong and you didn't know it. So as you get more experienced, and you can tell when you've removed a little bit of skin, because it's not a big chunk of bleeding flesh, but it's just kind of hard and shiny and pink looking. It looks slightly different. Pick up a mirror and show them and say, you're probably going to have a little bit of flaking right here, so that they know you know. Thank you, that'll be 10 pounds. Let's go make our next appointment. Really, I don't ever say, oh my God, look what I just did. That'll be free. In fact, your waxing is free the rest of our lives. No. I'm like, okay, so this is what happened. It's really, really normal. That was one of those things we discussed. I don't care. It happens. Okay, you send somebody to the hospital to get stitches. Maybe you don't charge them for that one. Maybe not. Tanya, I have had everything happen. Everything. And always in front of people. Okay. So, the thing about waxing with Retin-A is that we've heard a lot about not waxing somebody when they've been using Retin-A. But again, if we go back to understanding skin and thickness of skin, Retin-A thins the epidermal layer, but that only matters if the customer started with thin skin. If they didn't start with thin skin, they don't have thin skin. They have thinner skin, but it's not thin. Do you understand? If somebody is brand new at using Retin-A and it looks like they have kind of a sunburn, now you don't wax them. But if you're looking at the skin and it doesn't look like they have a fresh sunburn, and for sure, we do have to look at the skin and touch it and do all of those things when we're waxing. But don't ever go into automatic, just waxing, because the minute you go into automatic is when you forget to do this, or you don't ask, and things go wrong. So, new use of the products we discussed increases the possibility of a reaction. So if you start to use them, I have to be informed before we start our next appointment. Do you have any questions? Do you understand it all? Awesome. That's how I do my consultation and what I call the disclaimer. So I have them sign and I sign, and we really have had the opportunity to discuss normal reactions, okay? Now on the back, one last note about waxing. Now this is from my salon, so this is up to you. I never tweeze. I don't even have tweezers at my wax station. So I don't tweeze. I think perfect waxing means you put on the strip, you pull off the strip, and voila, all the hair is gone. For me, waxing doesn't mean you put on the strip, you pull off the strip, and you tweeze all those short hairs. But you have to have a conversation with your customers prior to doing this so that you can have this thing with them and you can say, okay, so here's how I like to work. I actually like to just wax, because when you just wax and you only wax 4 weeks apart, then you end up with the least amount of hair in between. So it's not that tweezing breaks off the hair. Tweezing does pull the hair out by the root, but I actually like to wax, and I like it to take about 90 seconds to do somebody's eyebrows, okay? So when you wax, and when you can actually hold the mirror up for your customer to see, and you can see the 3 different short, long, and medium hairs, right? The long ones are the only ones that are going to come out with the wax. So what I did when I went at my last salon, I actually took it over from somebody that would tweeze every last little hair out.